Yo, it's been a minute, but today, that's right, we're talking about Tales from the Crypt again. We are inching closer to spooky season, and if y'all know me, if y'all know Ratty, you know how much I with Tales from the Crypt. I have a love-hate relationship with that little bugger.
You're the Crypt Keeper of Snatch, fat boy.
Get wrecked! And the episode we are talking about today is truly a great example of psychological horror when a young girl named Mary Jo is forced against her will to work on a farm for a deranged family. We're talking about the episode 4-sided triangle, that's right. So if any of that sounds of interest to you, come hang out with me. What up, y'all? Welcome back to Fan of the Indie Review. I am your host, Cornfield Ratty. Corn on the cob Ratty. We are on the journey of 5,000 actual subscribers before Halloween, and I know we can get there. We've been locking in. And don't get me wrong, the day ones that have been a part of this channel mean more to me than y'all could ever know. So if you want to be a part of that clan, that creep clan, what y'all thinking? What y'all doing? Come hang out with me. Again, we talk about Tales from the Crypt frequently. We talk about horror comedy, spooky shit, psychological, tormenting stuff. So if any of that sounds of interest to you, come hang out with me. Give me a subby. This episode starts with another iconic philosophical proverb from our man, the Crypt Keeper. She loves me not. What do flowers know about love? And again, I feel like this episode, a lot of times when you see YouTubers talk about Tales from the Crypt, it's what's the funniest episode? What's the scariest? What's the most unhinged? But this one is just serviceably well written and well directed. I feel like it's one of those stories that it might not stand out as the best episode, but has a lot to offer. With that being said, Mary Jo is a troubled young lady who we find out is working on a farm for an old couple named George and Louisa. Louisa is suffering from polio or something, I believe, something that is debilitating her. And off the rip, George seems like kind of a typical hillbilly redneck, screw loose type of guy who just, follows the whim of his wife. He don't know nothing, he ain't that smart. We get right off the gate that though she is volunteering to work at this farm, she is also kind of held against her will. Louisa really neglects her and belittles her and makes her the farm bitch. George is plotting and scheming in his brain. You can see some malice in his eyes, some maliciousness, like he has some unfavorable, ungodly thoughts about Mary Jo, and he wants to act on it. And that all comes to a head when he is kind of stalking her through the barn while she's doing some normal farm chore, and he's sexualizing it, he's fantasizing it, and he sees and gets busted. And instead of just running away, clearly they've been together for so long that it paints a big picture that she's been living with this torment long enough. And we come to the realization that her checkered past caught up to her when she was trying to rob a store one day and trying to do some bad stuff, and she fled. George saved her from that and hid her on his farm and was like, well, since I saved you from the police, you were at my command. Essentially, he's like, you think he'd be like, I helped you, so help me. But more so it's, I own you. And that's kind of fucked up. And he's like, I'll call the cops if you don't do everything I say, while he's trying to advance on her. And she's like, please call the cops. I'd rather be anywhere but here. But she has that weird Stockholm syndrome, where she is afraid to leave and flee on what they're going to do to her. And that's what I like about this episode. It paints a picture in a specific time where the episode didn't start with her getting caught robbing a store and he saved her, and it just unraveled the story really fast and rapidly. It was dead set in a certain time frame that the abuse and torment she was suffering from this family has been long gone. So George says, girl, go milk this cow. And as she's milking the cow, he tries to advance on her and she defends herself and attacks. And as you're rooting for her to get away, he hits her pretty hard and she gets knocked out. During all this chaos, Louisa is inside the farmhouse and she hears it and she comes running out going, Mary Jo, where are you? Mary Jo, where are you? And she comes to the barn and she's like, George, where's Mary Jo? And he's all acting so suspicious, so shady, shaking, shivering. He's covered in milk from the bucket that got splashed on him from the cow milk. And she's like, where's Mary Jo? And he's like, I don't know nothing about nothing, shawty. Oh God, dead ass. And she's like, what's all over you? And Louisa's a very smart woman. She's like, I heard her screaming, you have milk all over you. You don't milk the cow. Mary Jo does. So she busts through and he's like, wait, Louisa, before you get mad, just understand I didn't mean to do this. And they walk into the barn and she's gone. And let's just say that Mary Jo hits her hard so head that she becomes a little bit, mentally damaged and deranged because of it. She runs off into the cornfield and we see this giant, ominous, lurking scarecrow clown figure, and she is now then convinced that that's her husband and that's the love of her life, and that she wants to be with nothing more than this scarecrow. And this is where the episode gets psychological, because as the episode unravels and unfolds, George is still trying to like make advancements towards Mary Jo, and Mary Jo is just like off her rocker, like really convinced that this scarecrow is real and she wants to be with it. And then Louisa keeps getting more sick to her stomach and jaded by the fact that her husband is obviously doing something shady, to the point where they're in bed one night and she's like, just so you know, George, I know you're not cheating on me, but if you ever do, you're not gonna like what happens. And he's genuinely scared, but the reason I like his character is because he started off playing that dumbfounded, gullible, like I don't know nothing from nothing type mentality. But you see as the episode progresses that he's more smarter and slick than he thinks, and there's suggestions being like, every time we have farm help, you just can't kill them or do what you want to them because you're not happy. So it just goes to show a reoccurring pattern that they have always been deranged, and that Mary Jo is just the next victim in their cog. I guess, you know, Louisa's so down bad and in control of that marriage that even though she knows George doesn't want to be with her, she wants to be in control of it and take that control of the relationship, and he just does whatever he wants, harasses these other victims, kills them, and she just puts up with it. And it's just a loveless marriage, but with a lot of, you know, tragedy and murder built behind it. It's like, well, they can't break it off. They are all that each other has and knows, and they're in too deep. And the episode escalates as George keeps trying to progress Mary Jo, and he starts to piece together. He's like, she really has a liking to this scarecrow, and like, he's like, I'm real, I'm a human, you can just have me as much as you want. She's like, no, I can't betray my man, that scarecrow's my lover, get wrecked. Again, he's trying so hard, and she's dressing better. She's like, I'm dressing like this for my man, I'm gonna go see him at midnight. And you know, Louisa keeps spiraling, getting upset, shoving her fucking pitchfork into the hay, just feeling a tension brew, because again, George is being secretive. He's like, we didn't do anything. And Mary Jo's being all weird and crazy and deranged, so she's like, is she getting taken advantage of? Are they having an affair behind my back? And it just paints this grand picture where one night Louisa wakes up in the middle of the night and George is not in bed, and she is pissed, so she hops on her tractor, and in the field, Mary Jo is just idolizing the scarecrow. She's hugging on him and loving on him and kissing him, when all of a sudden it comes to life and hops down, and she's like, I knew you were real. They start hugging, passionately kissing, loving each other. But then as the tractor sirens in the distance permeates, it goes back to being fucking inanimate, and it's back up on its post. And Mary Jo's like, no, no, no. Louisa comes in, she's like, where's George? What's going on? She's like, it's not, George isn't here, it's just me and my man. And she's like, I'm so fucking sick of how crazy you are. This scarecrow isn't real. And she takes her pitchfork and just jams it into the scarecrow. And if you guys are as slick as I think you are, we all know where this is going. George decided to put on that front and become the scarecrow so he could have these sexual advancements with Mary Jo, and Louisa in turn ends up killing her own husband because of the rage. And he falls off, the mask comes off, and he's laying there dead, and she's like, George, you stupid bastard. And right when you think that's bad enough, you get hit with another twist where Mary Jo ends up killing Louisa, and we find out that maybe all along that Mary Jo, maybe I'm interpreting this way, but Mary Jo was pretending to be crazy and unhinged all along to get George in this position to wear this costume so he could get killed. Like, because in that position she couldn't just run away and call the cops because she's wanted, and she couldn't just flee because she was scared of what they were going to do. So it seemed like she set up this crazy mindset and kind of like hatched this elaborate scheme to get away scot-free. But even as she runs away at the end, going free at last, you're like, she definitely is a little bit more damaged and deranged than she is willing to let on. And again, oftentimes in Tales from the Crypt, the main character always gets its comeuppance, or the one that you end up rooting for at the end then harbors some more deep hatred, and like, I guess they become an image of the monster all along. Like, no one ever gets away scot-free in Tales from the Crypt. But yeah, all around I felt like this episode was pretty good. I love the cinematography, the landscape, and the vibe of the farm with the fucking, you know, cornfield. The tall creepy clown scarecrow was a cool addition. The acting was great from George, Louisa, and Patricia Arquette as Mary Jo. It was a fine-tuned cast, a little small-knit, one-location vibe. It built a lot of tension. It had a lot of great story and merit to it. I feel like at the end of the day, it is a psychological horror mixed with a love triangle at last, but again, not even a love triangle, just a tension. And I feel like it was just done right. I feel like a lot of times those like lovey-dovey Tales from the Crypt episodes that are about romance and betrayal lean too far and they get a little bit too boring, or then some go unhinged, too supernatural, too scary. But I feel like this one was a fine blend of just a psychological, claustrophobic tale of a couple spiraling into madness and taking advantage of this victim who also is a little unhinged herself. But alright guys, have you seen this episode? Comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. We got some bangers on the way. We hooking this channel up with some spookers. I'm rocking that Creep Show shirt because Halloween's on its way. Comment down below if you want anything reviewed at all. Like, I'm at the point where I will review whatever horror movie you want me to. Like, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. But thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Give me a thumb or hit that ding-a-ling button harassing you, telling you, hey, it's me, I'm here, and I'm gonna say it one time for the one time and two time for the O's. Give me a hell yeah. For horror.
What do flowers know about love anyway? Well,
The month of Halloween Eve. Like, let's be real. I am blessed to live in a time where Halloween is becoming more accepted. I feel like for the longest time it was very underrated.